Hello there, my name is Kevin, and I like things philosophical, social justice-oriented, political, and sociological. And I think lots of folks, have a dilemma. Let's lay out a hypothetical situation. A hypothetical corporation, let's call them Bullseye, donates to a political action group. A group that, according to its website, ensures the interest of an effort by insert hypothetical state here, job providers to elect a governor and state legislatures who understand the importance of creating private sector jobs and economic opportunity in our state. End quote. This political donation is allowed now because donations by corporations acting as individuals are now allowed under United States law because of last January's Supreme Court ruling that corporate funds could be donated directly to political campaigns. Yeah, gets a little funky about there. Okay, fair deal. Under the new court ruling that it is now legal thing to do. So, this political action group, let's call them Minnesota Going Straight, donates to a politician running for governor based on his economic policies and his political plans to create more jobs. A very sound business-oriented thing to do. Cool, alright, corporation can do this. Now they run into some trouble because this politician, let's call him Emmer.mov. He doesn't just have economic policies on his platform or his website, he has other things. Dear Emmer.mov talks about the right to bear arms, education, healthcare, and who someone should be allowed to marry. See, Bullseye supposedly supported one of his provisions on jobs and economy, thus giving M some money. But he has 10 other issues that he focuses in on his website, and plenty more that he has beside. Now, some folks who shop at Bullseye did so because they liked that they were friendly and welcoming to the lesbian and gay folks, LGBTQIA, and scored top marks in the company's internal policies. But wait a second. Emmer doesn't support the lesbian and gay folks. He actually consistently voted against the rights of these folks by voting for the constitutional marriage amendment that protects traditional marriage. Also, Emmer has some weird, shady financial associations with the Christian rock group You Can Run But You Cannot Hide. Has said Muslim execution of homosexuals is living biblically, and that shows that those Muslims have more morality than some Christians here. But that may detract from our overall point, but please feel free to research that yourself, as that name isn't hypothetical and we just needed to plug that in there. So, Bullseye supports Emmer on his job and economic policies, but their own support of a diverse group of folks inside their company runs counter to other issues Emmer says is important and vote consistently on. Okay, well by now this is clearly a little too specific to be merely hypothetical and is way beyond my imagination to start in the first place. Here's what really happened now following the money. Target, Bullseye, gives money, $150,000, not in quotations because that's what they gave, to Minnesota Forward, Minnesota Going Straight, a political action group for job creation and economic growth stimulation. Minnesota Forward runs advertisements for candidates that follow their mission. So far, they've run candidate advertisements for one candidate. Just one. In this instance, Tom Emmer, for governor. People see the ad and are influenced in kind and are more likely to vote for Tom. People who shop at Target are upset because Tom Emmer has been and continues to be against gay rights. Some people protest outside stores, some cut up their Target credit cards, some are boycotting, and others keep on shopping either out of apathy or feel powerless against the big decisions being made. Consumers voters are being faced with an increasing dilemma as elections approach. This is because they have a new choice to make every time they go shopping for mouthwash. Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission's case result now means that corporations acting as individuals can donate to politicians, as Target did in their donations to Minnesota Forward and their support and advertisement of Tom Emmer. So let's pretend that you are someone who liked Target because they were supportive of the LGBT folks and liked the store for many other reasons, not limited to their very, very tasty soft pretzels in their food court. So what can an individual consumer voter do now that the lines between voter and consumer is almost completely absent? Now you have Target supporting a politician who has economic policies that Target supports, but if elected governor, Tom Emmer will also stand against marriage equality for all, which falls within, hopefully, and supposedly, Target's purview of their own policies. But Tom Emmer will not separate his economic policies from his social policies if he is elected governor and will simply be thankful for Target for the donations. The real example above provides us many choices we as consumers need to consider. This is not limited to this issue, corporation, or politician, and in the coming months and years will be a choice people of all political persuasions will need to be making or remain apathetic. Man, that sentence was hard. Here are some options. 1. Vote against Tom Emmer, but continue to shop at Target or the companies that sponsored Emmer. In our instance, Tom Emmer was also supported by lovely Best Buy and Regis Corporation. This choice means you support advertisement by shopping advertisement for Tom Emmer for the person you vote against, Tom Emmer. You vote against Tom in the election. All the money you spent at Target in some small part goes to fuel the donations given to Emmer or politicians like Emmer, meaning your vote against Emmer, but shopping at Target equals a negative net vote for your candidate and more votes for Tom. Hooray. 2. Vote against Tom Emmer and boycott Target or other companies that sponsored Emmer, Best Buy Regis Corporation, and shop at neutral stores to the political process. This choice means you vote against Tom Emmer, lessening the chance of him being elected, and enacting policies that continue to deny marriage equality across the board. You stay out of my politics, I will stay in your aisles. 3. Vote against Tom Emmer and support corporations with your business that donate to political campaigns that provide candidates that support your issues. In Minnesota, for those supporting LGBT rights, that could be Margaret Anderson Kyler or Keeler. I'm probably going to say like a million of these names wrong. That's okay. Matt Antenza, Tom Horner, etc. As of yet, there have not been many corporate backings of these candidates, and with the Disclosure Act not having gone through, we won't know publicly which corporations support which candidates for good or ill. Research the Disclosure Act, which is supposed to be kind of paired with the court decision that allows corporations to donate to politicians, which would mean that corporations have to, say at the end, there's a little spiel where it's like, I approve this message. It would be the CEO of, Quiznos being like, I support this message. I support it. I support the message with my money. And they would be at the end. That would be a good thing, because you would know who it would be. So, let's say you didn't want marriage equality for all. An option. I'm not saying it's a good option, but we're going to play this scenario out. Let's say you didn't want marriage equality for all. Then supporting Target became a more attractive option. Folks will now be shopping at Target if they support Tom Emmer because his issues and views on economic policy and on banning marriage equality may be in line with their own. Their money that they spend at Target goes to advertisement that makes it more likely that Tom Emmer will be elected. That's an option for folks as well, too. We have boycott, support, yay. Concluding thoughts. The consumer, voters of the United States, now have the opportunity to vote more than once. They now are voting every time they go to the store. The above example will no doubt play out and apply for every political party, social issue, and corporation that donates money to political campaigns in the coming months and years. This is unfortunately a new reality for those that live in the United States. Votes are not simply cast at the ballot, but by where one shops. Historically, the goal of a boycott was to pressure a business into changing a policy for the better. Boycotting of a company because of their practices, for instance, the boycotting of Coca-Cola for their continued presence in South Africa during the apartheid, helped remove Coca-Cola and in some small way helped end the apartheid, meant that the apathetic or uninformed were the only folks that continued to do business at those companies. Now, the reality is a corporation that supports a political candidate you oppose means the apathetic, uninformed, and those folks in favor of that candidate which you oppose will be supporting that corporation, in turn supporting the candidate you oppose. It's quite a new dilemma. United States consumers will need to come to terms with the fact that their every purchase has impacts on the world around them in a direct way politically and financially. This is different than the way that every purchase they had affected the world environmentally, socially, and otherwise. But now it's happening in a more direct way that we can actually see. This in turn can potentially affect the rights of others, their quality of life, the environment, and much more, simply by allowing someone to get into a position of leadership and power in our country. I myself need to think hard on my next shopping trip. Where I buy my mouthwash may mean another year or more that the right to marry will be denied to folks. The world just got a whole lot more complicated. What are you going to do about it?